John always said loving Clara was like breathing, effortless, essential, and something he did without even thinking about it. They'd been married for 8 years, and for John, each day felt like a scene from a romantic movie. He'd leave little notes on the mirror, surprise her with flowers just because it was a Tuesday, and cook her favorite pasta even after a grueling day at work. Clara was his world, the sun his life revolved around. He trusted her implicitly, so much so that when his friends occasionally made jokes about Clara, as late nights at work, or her very close male friends, John would just laugh it off. "She's just friendly," he'd say. "That's one of the things I love about her." He truly believed their bond was unbreakable, forged in the fires of true love and mutual respect. He was the kind of husband who bragged about his wife, not to show off, but because he was genuinely proud of the amazing woman he thought he'd married. But slowly, hairline cracks began to appear in his perfect world. They were small at first, almost unnoticeable. A phone call she'd quickly end when he entered the room. A sudden password on her laptop, which had always been open for him to use. When he asked, she'd have a perfectly plausible explanation. "It was just a telemarketer, honey," or "new company policy, we have to lock our devices." John, blinded by his love, accepted it all. He didn't want to be the suspicious, controlling husband he'd seen in movies. He wanted to be the man who trusted his wife, the man she deserved. Her late nights became more frequent, attributed to a big project at work. Her business trips started stretching over weekends. The distance between them grew, not just in miles, but in the space on the couch, in the silence that filled their dinner conversations. John felt a gnawing emptiness, but he kept telling himself it was just a phase. All marriages have their ups and downs, right? He just needed to love her harder, be more understanding, and everything would go back to the way it was. The breaking point arrived on a rainy Wednesday afternoon. John had gotten off work early, feeling a bit under the weather. He decided to surprise Clara, maybe pick her up from her office and take her out for a nice, quiet dinner. He pictured the smile on her face, the way she'd playfully scold him for being so impulsive. He bought a bouquet of her favorite lilies, their scent filling his car with a sweet fragrance that suddenly felt suffocatingly ironic. As he pulled up to her office building, he saw her. She wasn't buried in paperwork as she'd claimed. She was standing by the entrance, laughing, her head tilted back in a way he knew so well. But the man she was with wasn't a colleague. It was Mark, a man she had introduced as an old friend from college. The way they looked at each other, the way his hand lingered on the small of her back as he opened his car door for her. It wasn't friendly. It was intimate. It was everything John thought was reserved for him. John's heart hammered against his ribs. He felt a cold wave wash over him, so intense it made him shiver despite the car's heater being on. He watched them drive away, his mind a whirlwind of denial and confusion. It couldn't be. There had to be an explanation. He followed them, his hands gripping the steering wheel so tightly his knuckles turned white. He needed to see. He needed to know the truth, no matter how much it hurt. They drove to a part of town he didn't recognize, pulling into the driveway of a charming little house he'd never seen before. He parked across the street, his breath fogging up the windshield. He watched as they got out of the car, and Mark unlocked the front door. Before they went inside, Mark pulled Clara into a deep kiss. A kiss filled with a passion John hadn't seen from his wife in years. The lilies on the passenger seat seemed to mock him, their vibrant color a stark contrast to the grayness that had enveloped his soul. The truth was no longer a suspicion. It was a brutal, undeniable reality, playing out right before his eyes. For what felt like an eternity, John just sat there, the engine off. The only sound the drumming of the rain on the roof and the frantic beating of his own broken heart. Every memory, every shared laugh, every whispered "I love you" was now tainted, replaying in his mind like a corrupted file. The man who loved beyond reason was now face to face with a reason he could no longer ignore. He felt an odd sense of calm wash over the storm inside him. It wasn't anger, not yet. It was a chilling clarity. He started the car and drove home, the journey a blur. He walked into the house they had built together, a home filled with photos of their smiling faces. He looked at a picture on the mantelpiece from their wedding day. They looked so happy, so full of hope. He gently took the photo, not smashing it in anger, but simply turning it face down. He went into their bedroom, the room that had once been his sanctuary, and started packing a bag. Not for her, for him. When Clara came home late that night, humming a cheerful tune, she found the house unusually quiet and dark. "John, honey, are you home?" she called out. She found him in the living room, sitting on the couch, a single suitcase by his side. Her smile faltered when she saw the look on his face. It was a look she'd never seen before, devoid of the adoration she was so used to. It was calm, steady, and utterly empty. "Where have you been, Clara?" he asked, his voice flat. She started with her usual story. "Oh, the project ran so late, you wouldn't believe." But he held up a hand, stopping her mid-sentence. "Don't," he said softly. "I know, I saw you. With Mark. At the house." Clara's face went pale. The color drained from her cheeks and her mouth opened, but no words came out. The charade was over. There were no more lies to hide behind. "I loved you," John continued, his voice gaining a sliver of strength. "I loved you so much that I ignored everything my gut was telling me. I made excuses for you. I defended you. I thought my love was enough to hold us together." He stood up and walked towards the door, picking up his suitcase. "But love isn't supposed to make you a fool. And reason, well, reason finally showed me the truth." Clara started to cry, reaching for him. "John, please, we can talk about this. It was a mistake." But he just shook his head, a single tear finally tracing a path down his cheek. "No, Clara. The mistake was me believing a lie for so long." He opened the door and walked out into the night, leaving behind the ruins of the life he had so lovingly built. He didn't know where he was going, but for the first time in a long time he was moving forward, guided not by blind love, but by the harsh, illuminating light of the truth. His journey was just beginning, but it was his own. Thank you for watching. It's important to remember that trust is the foundation of any relationship, and you deserve someone who values and respects that trust. If you've been through something similar, know that you are not alone and that healing is possible. Please consider subscribing to our channel for more stories. We'll see you in the next video.